I think we can stop pretending now, because it is quite clear that South Africans hate the ANC, hate Cyril Ramaphosa only on social media. But when the ANC, like Benny McCarthy, is in the 18 area, in their area, they are out there to cheer for the ANC in their numbers. Now, it is clear to me when we look at the Maihlome Rally manifesto speech of the ANC that ANC has supporters. Whether you like it or not, there is clearly a huge amount of people that still follow the ANC. Let's talk about that and much more in this video. Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I am your host, King 053, Mr. Easy Imali, Enengi, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we go back to KwaZulu-Natal, Moses Mabhida Stadium, where the ANC had the Maihlome Rally manifesto delivered by the Honorable President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa. Now, guys, I got some inboxes. I got some messages that, yeah, King, you're quiet because the ANC has filled up the stadium. You're where are you? Why are you quiet now? Yeah, you're a hater. You only praise the EFF. You only praise Mkhonto Wesizwe. The ANC did good, and you are all quiet. It is not so, my brothers and sisters. I do not have time to always report on negative things. When you guys address me, remember that you are addressing a Pan-Africanist. And I am happy when African people are gathered in one place and doing well. Whether it will have an impact on the lives of those people who are gathered, it's another question and another debate for another day. But for the mere fact that I could see Africans gathering in one place as a Pan-Africanist, it brings joy to my heart. So no, we are not ignoring the ANC. We had a busy weekend, and sometimes it happens that you want to report news as they happen, but unfortunately, life does catch up on us. So we are back. We want to speak about the manifesto, my manifesto, a beautiful one that the EFF, the ANC, excuse me, there I go thinking about the EFF. The ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has delivered. I'll make maybe another video about the numbers, because numbers are very important, just like when you're listening to the budget speech. What exactly are the commitments of the ANC when it comes to the next 5 years? And like Cyril Ramaphosa has said, to the next 30 years that they are looking ahead. You remember they said the ANC will rule until Jesus comes. So there's a possibility of that happening, whether you and me like it or not. Now, one of my focuses on this video, I'm going to focus on the 6 priorities that the ANC has outlined, and also I'm going to focus on the numbers of the people that have came to the stadium, what it means. I know most of you that I will call informed Africans will think, King, doesn't mean anything. They fetch people with their buses. They bribe people with T-shirts. They bribe people with meals, KFC, and whatever and what's not. And the follow-up question I asked, so what? I always ask this thing. I said, so what? So if they do it on election day, bribe people with transport, bribe people with KFC, bribe people with T-shirts and caps and all of that, and win the elections, what are you going to say? A strategy is a strategy nevertheless, as long as it works. So for me and you being ignorant because we are the informed one who are on social media speaking like this about the ANC, speaking about that, getting informed. You're watching that podcast, you're watching King Said So, you're watching that guy that's speaking about this. And most of the people that I have watched especially on YouTube, I don't know of a pro ANC YouTuber. I don't know one, So people tend to see that and then come to the conclusion that the ANC will fall underneath 50% because we get these pollings here. You get a polling there that says the ANC will get under 50%. You see Mkhonto Wesizo growing. You see the EFF growing. And automatically, as an informed person who can add 1 plus 1, you then conclude that the ANC will get underneath 50%. I don't think Cyril Ramaphosa wants to be that first president that is going to lead ANC into a government of coalition with another party. They don't want, Cyril Ramaphosa does not want to be that president to get, the first president to get 50%, underneath 50% in the ANC. He does not want to. He does not want to. From 57 to 50%, he does not want to be that president that has dropped in the percentage of the ANC. Yes, his 6 years as a president has been a roller coaster ride. The man has not been seen as a person who had full control of the steering wheel, how it goes. He's more of a how do you call it? He's more of a consultative leader. So many people have got the hands of the steering at different positions of the journey. He will just let this one lead. He will let Fikile do that. He will let Gwede do that. He will let Praveen do that. And sometimes he'll come and take the wheel himself. He's a very he works with the leadership of the ANC, and some people have classified that as being a weak point. Unlike Thabo Mbeki, Cyril Ramaphosa, Jacob Zuma, who when they took decisions, you can feel that they took the decision for the best interest of the party as they thought. You understand, especially Jacob Zuma. You remember he would just shuffle the cabinet in the middle of the night. Now, just before you sleep, you wake up tomorrow, you have changed portfolios, or you've been fired. That was Jacob Zuma. And most people growing up with that African type of traditional upbringing, like that, they would like the father to have the full control of the steering wheel, so to say. So Cyril Ramaphosa does not want to be the guy that is going to bring the ANC under 50%. But before we go into deeper analysis of the manifesto, let's start first by the turnout. Because most of you are saying, King, they filled the stadium, they did a better job than the EFF. What do you think? What are you going to say? I looked at and like I said, I was very busy, so I came back. I was preparing. I'm shooting this video. It's almost 1 o'clock, guys. It's like 1:45 in the morning as I'm shooting this. So you'll be getting it Sunday morning. So I was looking at the videos and looking at the manifesto. I even downloaded the whole 5-hour clip just to try and watch snippets. There was a lot of performances, a lot of people speaking here and there. So you're trying to get, that is why I feel like I must do a part 2, because I'm going to miss some things here. But like I said, the only thing I want to focus is the turnout of the people and the 6, the 6 priorities that they want to focus on. So when it comes to the attendance, was it better than the EFF? Yes. Yes, it was better than the EFF. Does it mean anything that they filled up the stadium better than the EFF? Yes. Yes, and I've got ulwandle lwenqwaba lese unqwaba lama EFF supporters in my channel, and also Umkhonto Wesizo people in my channel. So some of us or some of you don't like hearing that the ANC has done better than the EFF in anything. Remember, on the last elections, the ANC managed to get 10 million voters that voted for the ANC. So filling up a stadium shouldn't be a difficult task. Whether they brought people from outside KZN or not, it does not make a difference. I know of Northern Cape people that went to KwaZulu Natal on the Manifesto. So people are always going to come from other provinces, and I think we must come to um, the realization and acceptance that that's that that does not mean that the political parties can't bring people to from outside provinces because they are in another province. That's pure rubbish. That's not how you do politics. The EFF did set the bar high. I said the EFF was about 95 to 98% full because they unfortunately got a bad cut when it comes to the weather. You know, it rained at one point and all of that. So you never got really some good pictures and a good feel of how many people were there at the peak time because of that. But for those who were there, they said the stadium was full. But we can all agree that the ANC did a little bit more because of how they filled the ground also. So it is definitely we have to applaud it. It's not easy organizing people like this, guys. It's not easy. And some of you don't want to accept that the ANC can do better than the EFF, but unfortunately they did. Does it mean anything politically? Because we are in the election season, yes, it does. We're playing a numbers game here, and the illusion, it's there. It's there. Remember, other people will look at that, either feel discouraged to vote for another party and say, ANC is going to win anyway, or feel like, let me rather just vote for the ANC. I told you guys that there was a time where my sister was a councillor. She served 2 terms as a councillor in Mpumalanga, Kwamhlanga. And, you know, when she was there in the ANC, I had to vote for the ANC. My sister is in the ANC. I have to vote for her. If I don't vote, she might lose her job. Another party might get our award, and we don't want it. We need my sister to be there. So there's those dynamics. Just because I'm not agreeing with Cyril Ramaphosa does not mean I'm not going to vote for the ANC, because the councillor on the ground, we know them personally sometimes, or most of the times. So you guys need to understand those dynamics also. Let's quickly listen to the 6 priorities of the ANC. But before I say that, let me say this: the organization, in terms of performances and everything, you guys know my point of view, but it is a little bit different with the ANC in how they did it. You know, a lot of traditional performances, a lot of I'm leaning more to those things than DJ. You know, I say DJs, you don't need a lot of them. In fact, when you look at the lineup of the EFF, it is similar things: piano, 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 drum, piano, piano, drum, you know, and a little bit of jazz here, you know, Afrobeat there. But the same thing. You don't have to book the same people of the same genre of music. You don't have to overbook them. That's what I feel. Especially I'm a piano DJs. You don't need many of them. 3 is enough. 4 is enough. Let them just play for a longer period. You understand what I'm saying? I will bring traditional dancers. I'll bring it because it's a group. And most of the time, those groups, they don't even charge much. You can bring a group for 30,000 rand. You know, that's a lot of people. You know, so I like how they did everything. You guys saw the video that I uploaded before this one, the night before the manifesto. They did very well. I love that performance. I love everything there. So let's get into the 6 priorities that the ANC has promised that they will be focusing on. Listen to this.
In the 2024 elections, we will go beyond celebrating our accomplishments of the past 30 years. We will be focusing on the future of our people. We will focus on 6 priorities which are critical to transforming the economy, and creating jobs. Our jobs plan, building our industries to include an inclusive economy. We will tackle the high cost of living. We will also invest in our people. We will defend democracy and advance freedom. And we will continue to build a better Africa and a better world.
So there you hear it. The 6 priorities area of focus that the ANC will be getting into, in case you missed it, is the job plan. Job plan. Everyone who are speaking about job, of course, every party must have a job plan. The Mzansi, build one South Africa of Musimaimane had, I think, something like 4 million jobs that they want to create, and what do you call it? The EFF had also a focus on the jobs. Usongezwa of Rise Mzansi also had a focus on the jobs. Now the ANC is saying we're going to build a job plan. They say they're going to build the industries, for more participation between the private and the public sector, and also the community people with the industry world, so that the people can participate more in building the infrastructure and industry of our country. Then they're going to focus on the high cost of living, excuse me. Well, really, it is here we're speaking about the banks, we're speaking about inflation, we're speaking about rent manipulation. There's a lot of things that you can cover there, that you can put in that one thing. Invest in our people. I hope that's not the 28 million people that depend on social grants. 28 million people right now. It's defend our democracy. I like that, because really the freedom of speech that we have in South Africa, it's unmatched in Africa. Nobody has the freedom of speech. I can say almost basically anything respectfully and disrespectfully about the president as much as I want, and no real consequences are there. And then he says he's going to defend democracy and freedom of speech, build a better Africa and the rest of the world. Well, I don't know what on earth Cyril Ramaphosa is talking about there. Building a better Africa, maybe relations between other countries and all of that. But I don't see any president of Africa as a Pan-Africanist who is serious about getting out of colonization, and also of which I'll play a video where he speaks about the 342 years that we suffered under the Dutch and the British people. So yeah, for me, only Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are the true Pan-Africanist countries. If you've been following the channel for long, you know that. So let's get on those 6 priorities and try to see if we can break them down properly. There is no real commitments when it comes to the private sector, when it comes to them speaking about job creations. In fact, we have seen ever since Thabo Mbeki left that the private sector is indirectly sabotaging the government by firing people because of their bank statements reflecting a negative balance on their balance sheet. Excuse me. So every year, people are losing more jobs in the private sector, which then leaves us with a government sector, the government being the highest employer in the country, which is not supposed to be like that. The private sector should have more employees than government. It just makes more sense. And I feel like the government employee payroll is bloated. There's too many people doing the same thing, let me say that, in government. And I can say that because I work in government. I know I'm speaking from experience. There's just people who just sitting around and doing nothing. People are not working for 8 hours in government. It's not even possible. It's only a few, and I think government needs that few. I think others are just there for when others are taking leave so that they can chip in there. So the industries, building the industries in South Africa, I hope they don't mean they want to privatize everything. Privatizing everything is going to kill us. Once the energy sector and industry is in private hands, you're going to see situations like the finance industry, where black people are being isolated and discriminated because of the color of their skin. The finance industry is completely privatized. The banks run this country. They can discriminate against black people as much as they want to. They can make you pay a higher interest rate. They can decline your applications. They can do everything they want. So in the energy industry also, you're gonna find the same problems. You're gonna find other areas getting absolutely no load shedding because of who stays there, and other industry areas getting crazy amount of load shedding because of the people who stay there. You're going to find discrimination. White companies are not going to prioritize black people. That is what is going to happen in terms of giving everyone, every industry into the private sector. You're going to regret it. The high cost of living is because our government is not serious specifically about those industries. They're not serious about the agriculture industry, transforming it and making sure that our people have got a role to play. We're always dependent on the manufacturing industry. We're always importing things. It's the same thing over and over that we speak about in our um, in our everyday lives. That really, how can we say we're going to deduct or reduce the standard of living with the way we are going? We don't see a direction. And also this thing of social grants, man, 27 to 28 million people relying on social grants. It's not stable. It's not stable. You're gonna see, South Africa is committing billions of rands on the next only 24 hours on how much they need to pay on social grants. Billions of rands. It's crazy. It's crazy. You guys know the numbers. You guys know the numbers. So I don't see how that is going to help. I like it that they say they're gonna defend democracy and freedom of speech, but you know that only applies to other people and not to other people, because our court system is captured completely. We see people going into court for the same crimes, other people being released, and other people being kept behind prison doors because of who they are. So that also is something that the ANC, I agree, need to work on. And also building a better Africa. That is what we need as a Pan-Africanist. We need to see more presidents speaking about the unity of Africa. You need to speak about it. The Berlin 1984, the 1884 conference that was there in Berlin, to say we need to get rid of these borders that were given to us by our colonizers. We need to have free trade around Africa. People don't need a passport to travel between African countries, and all of that. We need to hear those things when you're talking about building a better Africa. And a better Africa means taking lesser financial assistance from other countries that are not from in Africa. You know, your Russian, China, your India, and all of that, cutting those people, the dependence on those people, small by small in each and every financial year, so that we can do things ourselves, and also making sure that they are not taking our raw material and minerals from our countries and then calling us poor after they convert that raw material into a finished product. Then they give us a small percentage and they call it aid. Pure nonsense. Pure nonsense. So that is that is what I would focus on in terms of this. I will do definitely a part two so that these videos must not be too long. Now, when we come to the speech itself, the speech itself, I think Cyril Ramaphosa is well spoken. He delivered the speech on a good tone, very well articulated, and we have to appreciate the man for speaking all official languages. Well, I'm bangathethi Swati, but Swati is a Nguni language, so when you speak Zulu, you're covering Swati, Ndebele, and Xhosa. When you speak Pedi, you're covering Sotho and Tswana. And Tsonga is on its own when it's a Gunu language. Also, Venda also speaks good in Venda. So he speaks here and there in Afrikaans. Very good spoken man. And I think we must applaud him for that because it is something that we will miss for a very long time after he's gone. A president that can give a speech in different languages. It's not easy. It's not easy. Only people like myself and Cyril Ramaphosa can do that here in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? Because we love languages. And growing up in Soweto, you're going to learn a lot of languages because it's very diverse. And if you don't want to learn, it's because you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So what mark do we give him out of 10? What do we say to Cyril Ramaphosa? Do we give him a high mark, a low mark? Let's refresh quickly. The first manifesto, I am going to do the ATM. ATM made their manifesto in December. I never covered it. I will cover it. The first manifesto in 2024 was Songezwa, the president of Rise Mzansi. We gave him a 6 out of 10. We said he was not very well articulated. It was an okayish manifesto, not bad, not good, just made it up above the pass rate. The second man that went after him was Musima Imane, who got a 7 out of 10. Very well articulated. Musima Imane, very fueled up, knows how to play with the volume of his vocal cords, how to attract people, speaks different languages also. So that was very good for Musima Imane. We gave him a 7 out of 10. John Steenhuisen of the DA, we also gave him a 7 out of 10 for his manifesto at the Union Building in Pretoria. We said he did very well. John Steenhuisen, obviously, followed by our clever blacks, and did very well in terms of the manifesto when we rated him. The EFF then followed up on the 10th of February, where the president of the EFF had some flu, a cold, and but he did very well. The organization of the whole event was very good. We gave him an 8.5 out of 10. Now we have the ruling party with the Maihlome manifesto in KwaZulu Natal, Moses Mabhida. What are we giving Cyril Ramaphosa? Well, for me, Cyril Ramaphosa cannot get anything below 8.5 out of 10 for his manifesto speech. I think he did very well. I think he's very well spoken. If it will have an impact or not, I'm just judging the speech on itself, not other things. Just the speech on itself, how well spoken the man is, the delivery of the speech, the playing around with the information, the vocal cord, the facial expression, the body language, how he presented it. For me, I think he tied Julius Malema with the 8.5 out of 10. Cyril Ramaphosa is tied on number 1 with Julius Malema. You guys go in the comment section and give me your fair reflection. I'm tempted to say 9 out of 10, but 9 out of 10 will be almost excellent. But I think 8.5 out of 10 is a fair reflection for me. You guys tell me what you think on the comment section. Would you give him that 9 out of 10 and make Cyril Ramaphosa number 1? Well, keep on thinking of it as I'm watching it again and again. You guys will get another breakdown of the manifesto in KwaZulu Natal. It's very exciting to see they're already planning their victory lap in the FNB Stadium. They'll be going there to celebrate the win of the election. So it's very good. And I don't want to cover that. The president was speaking mostly about the 30 years and whatever. We have spoken about that enough. I think I've covered what I wanted to cover here. I'll do another breakdown where I do the numbers and all of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this specific episode. So we are trying to get to that 20,000 subscribers. If you haven't already and you are enjoying the content, please click the subscribe button. And if you are learning something from this podcast and you are learning something from this channel, click the subscribe so we can get to that 20,000 subscribers in the next 2 weeks before the end of the month. That is our aim, that we'll get 20,000 subscribers, and I'll give away 10 t-shirts to different people. So thank you so much. We've already had 3 people that we have selected, which is Uqina in Johannesburg, Trinity in Begersford, and Utulane in Nelspruit. So I need 7 more people. I'll go live Sunday evening at 9 o'clock. Today, Sunday evening at 9 o'clock, to select maybe two more people. So make sure you tune in as we speak about Pan-Africanism and the school that we're building, as I update you on different things. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Let's just hear a word from our sponsors, and then until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. And after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.
At White Knot Technologies, we specialize in bags, embroidery, branded wear, and screen printing. We provide the finest quality for affordable price and fast turnaround time. We make sure you'll be satisfied with your order. Visit us at 18 Fisher Avenue, Epping,